Assalamualaikum. Greetings, everyone. I hope all of you are well and safe. I think you are aware that we are still in the movement control order, and especially in Kuala Lumpur, you have to stay at home. So, for your information, I think you are aware that the classes will be conducted online. So this is the course Professional Ethics, Safety and Health, UHAK 2142. So in this section of the course, I will talk about these two topics, which are the opportunities in the profession and professional qualification, and the engineer's responsibility for safety, environment, and health. For these 3 weeks, I will conduct the course. The other weeks will be conducted by other lecturers. Okay, before we move on, let's look at the course information. So the first course learning outcome is the one that we'll be working or focusing on, which is to work effectively within a team to analyze the various issues related to professional ethics, safety, and health. So there are 3 program learning outcomes that we have to focus on: 6, 8, and 10, as has been written here. And this accounts for 32.5% of your of the total mark of your course. So it consists of lectures, discussion, and active learning. So my plan is I will record part of my lecture, is what I'm doing now, and then we have a synchronous session, an online session, where we can clarify issues and discuss more about this matter. So this is just a starting point of my lectures. Okay. For my part of the course, there will be, of course, the homework and the mini project. Okay, the homework I will be giving the homework at the end of this video. These are the different assessment that I'll be using. The homework, which consists of 12.5%, which can be done individually, and then there's another 20% group project. A very simple group project. So when we talk about professional qualification and the profession as an engineer, so the first topic that come into our mind is what's the difference between these professional qualifications and the basic degree and academic degrees. So this bachelor and master's degree tend to involve in-depth academic study at university, which often including a written dissertation. So even at your level, finally you will have the final year project at the end of your study in year 4. So we have different level. Let's look at this academic part. So we have different level of qualifications. So diploma, advanced diploma, graduate diploma. So we are at the bachelor's degree. You are taking the SMJE or other mechanical or chemical course, so electronics. I think most of you are enrolled in the SMJE course. And of course, there's the postgraduates, which involve the master's and doctoral degree. So the purpose for this degree is mostly to prepare you for a particular career, but also provides general skills and knowledge that allow you to enter various fields of work. On the other hand, you have the professional qualifications, which are vocational training courses that relate to a specific industry or career path. So I think you are aware you are doing engineering, and more specifically, most of you are doing the electronic engineering. So these professional courses can be taken, some of them can be taken directly after completing the university, while others are aimed at professionals with several years of experience who are looking to develop their career further. Let's talk a little bit about these qualifications. So professional qualifications are typically more vocational in nature, so they are more practical and more involved in real life situations. So this act as an entry route or route to promotion within a specific job. These professional qualifications are accredited, means they are the standards are maintained by professional bodies, so which set the exams, and regulate the standards you must meet to work in certain jobs. Professional qualifications are vocational qualifications, often involving an element of practical training. Usually, they are linked with a specific industry and are designed to help you improve and develop relevant skills for a particular career path. So, some careers require you to have a certain professional qualifications in order to practice. So, for example, solicitors must complete the legal practice course before they can become a trainee solicitor. Likewise, in order to obtain chartered status in your profession, you will be required to complete a professional qualification. So, for example, if you want to become a chartered accountant or a chartered engineer. So, since we are focusing on engineer, so you can see here these are several logos of the different engineering accreditation body. So this is, I think you are well aware, this is the Lembaga Jurulatera Malaysia, the Board of Engineer in Malaysia. This is the Engineering Council, especially for UK. This is for Australia, and this is for Japan. So there are many other accreditation body in other countries. So this is just example. So if you wish to become a member of a professional body or institute, you will also have to do a professional qualification. As a result, most professional qualifications are accredited by professional bodies. So these are the professional bodies that I just mentioned. Okay, next, before we move on, of course you are aware of this, the engineering. These are the typical engineering fields. Okay, in Malaysia there are the traditional one are 5, consists of civil, electrical, electronics, mechanical, and chemical. And in your case, most of you who are registered as the in the SMJE program, so you will later on, after you graduate, you can register as the electronics engineer. Okay, when you register in BEM. Once you have your degree, you can directly go to BEM and register to start to accumulate your experience. And the field that you will choose is electronics. So your colleagues in other department, they will choose mechanical or chemical. We don't have electrical engineering program in Kuala Lumpur yet. That is the one in Johor. Okay, so let's talk about one of these professional qualification, which is called the chartered engineer. So what is it exactly? Why are you interested? Why, if you want to register as a chartered engineer, and how to do that? So I'll talk a little bit about this. So number one, specifically, I will explain a little bit about the Engineering Council in the UK, and specifically the chartered engineer and the UK specification, and why. What are the benefits of registration, and how can you register? This part I would just show you briefly the list of institutions which you must become a member before you can register as the chartered engineer, and what kind of education are needed, and then a little bit of my personal experience registering as a chartered engineer. So the Engineering Council is the regulatory body for the UK engineering profession, and it sets and maintains the internationally recognized standards of professional competence and commitment. It holds the national register of over 230,000 engineers and technicians who have been assessed against these standards and awarded one of our professional titles. So these are the 4 titles that can be awarded by this Engineering Council: Engineering Technician, Incorporated Engineer, Chartered Engineer, and the Information and Communications Technology Technician. So the one that we are interested in is the Chartered Engineer. So what's the UK-SPEC? The men and women who aspire to be recognized as professional engineers and technicians, they decided that they have to have different independent assessments of their competence and commitment. And the UK-SPEC is the UK standard for professional engineering competence. So in short form, we call it UK-SPEC, and provides the means to achieve this independent assessment for their competency. So by definition, the chartered engineers develop solutions to engineering problems using new or existing technologies through innovation, creativity, and change, and or they may have technical accountability for complex systems with significant levels of risk. So in particular, there are 5 areas that you have to show you can demonstrate that you have this ability. So these 5 areas are listed here. Number one relates to the knowledge. So you have to have the theoretical knowledge to solve problems in new technologies and develop new analytical techniques. And then you have to show that you have successfully applied this knowledge to deliver innovative products and services and or take technical responsibility for complex engineering systems. And then next is the accountability for project, finance and personal management and managing trade-offs between technical and socio-economic factors. So as an engineer, you also need to have the skill of managing projects. Okay, so managing projects include managing the financial aspects, also of course meeting the deadlines. And then you have to show the skill sets necessary to develop other technical stuff. So normally as an engineer you will work in teams, so it's not all about yourself. You also have to think about your other team members and how you can develop everyone together as a team. And then finally, the effective interpersonal skills in communicating technical matters. So how you communicate your ideas, how you present your ideas, and how you discuss things with your team members and with your superior, with your maybe even your you are supervising your trainee. So this is very important. So these 5 areas are listed down here more specifically. So you will see that these are the standards that will be used to evaluate a candidate for a professional qualification as a chartered engineer. So registered engineers and technicians are required to show that they have adopted a set of values and behaviors that will maintain and enhance the reputation of the profession. So specific evidence is required in the areas as listed here. So you have to comply with codes of conduct. You have to be able to manage and apply safe systems of work, undertake engineering activities in a way that contributes to sustainable development. Next is you also have to carry out CPD, that's continual professional development, necessary to maintain and enhance your competence. So as you know, technology changes every day and you have to keep up with these changes. So you have to show that you are a person that can carry out this continuously updating your knowledge. You know, this is very close to our one of the program outcome, which is lifelong learning, and of course actively participating within the profession. So normally this competence and commitment, they will require an interview to assess this. So if you are interested to become later on, once you have worked, you have accumulated some experience in your work, then you have to be able to show your competency and your commitment in your field. So normally they will check, you will have to submit some kind of documents, a certain set of documents, and then there will be an interview to assess this. So why do you need to register? Well, so these are the reason why the benefit of registering as a chartered engineer. So number one is recognition of their peers as meeting UK standards for knowledge and experience, which are internationally recognized. So that's the number one point, where you to gain international recognition in your profession. So just like accountant, they have chartered accountant, architects. So engineers also have this. You have to achieve a certain level of standard. So you will be recognized as a chartered engineer, not just in Malaysia, in UK, but in most other countries also recognize your competency as a professional engineer. Okay, number two, to help fulfill the requirements of BEM for accreditation of engineering education programs. So this is a Malaysian related issue where the Board of Engineering Malaysia, if you are an academician in a higher learning institution, so for example in UTM, so the Board of Engineering Malaysia requires a certain percentage of the lecturers to have this professional engineering qualification. So for example, in our department, the Department of Electronic Systems Engineering, so it requires at least a few of us to have this professional engineering status, either registered with the BM or they also accept this chartered engineer. So some of our lecturers need to have this qualification. So I'm one of them. If you recall, there are 2 or 3 other lecturers in our department that has this qualification. And of course, once you are registered as a chartered engineer, you can convert this status as a Malaysian professional engineer. Okay, so number 4 is only valid for UTM staff. So UTM staff, they have this privilege that the fees for the registration and the yearly renewal of the chartered engineer status are being sponsored by the UTM. So how can we register? The first step to registration is membership of one of the professional engineering institution licensed to assess candidates of a professional affiliate with the relevant registration agreement. So these are listed on page 26. So you can refer to this guide, which I will just give you the link in e-learning later on. Okay, so just to show you what is included in the pocket guide here, they have listed this association or professional institution which can be, you need to be part of them. Okay, so these are some examples of the relevant institution. So for me, I'm a member of the Institution of Engineering and Technology, IET. So it allows you to register as the chartered engineer. Okay, there are many others that is relevant to your field. So maybe I know some other colleagues that are part of, if you are doing robotics, so you can find some which is related to robotics, and there's also, like for example, marine engineering, if you are working with vehicles, underwater vehicles. So some of my colleagues are also registered here, and they have registered as a chartered engineer. So that's the first step. And then these are the examples of what we need to, the pathway of how to register as a chartered engineer. So as you can see, you will need to have a degree first, bachelor's degree. Okay, and you have to ensure that the degree is accredited as partially meeting the educational requirement for chartered engineer. And then you have to have the further education, whether you at master or doctorate level. And then you have to demonstrate your work experience, which need to be documented, and then you can apply for the professional engineer. A little bit about the education mentioned just now. So you have to make sure that your education is accredited. Okay, as you know, our program in MJIT is also accredited by the Malaysian Board of Engineer Malaysia. Okay, so once this has been accomplished, then you can move on to continue your education and also to accumulate your work experience. So you can see in UK for list of programs that are accepted, or they call it accredited by the council. The journey to professional registration. So there's a nice video from the Engineering Council website, which you can view later on. I will give you the link. And finally, just to share for my personal experience, I went through the interview at the IET Malaysia. So that was back in 5 years ago, in 2015, at Subang Jaya. And in my experience, there are 2 interviewers, one from academia, a professor from academia, if I'm not mistaken, from Uni 10, and another one from an industry, which is a fellow of the IET Malaysia. So basically, you have to show that you demonstrate all the competencies A, B, C, D, and E, the 5 competencies I just mentioned before in this video. During the interview, you will be there will be a lot of questions on to gauge your ability, your competency in all those areas. So how to prepare? So these are the 3 points that you need to prepare. Basically, you have to release. You might have so many projects. You have completed many projects. You have published many papers. But for the purpose of this interview, in my experience, we just need to select the one that we really are familiar with, that we have total involvement, and we are really, if you can choose a project that you are really passionate about it, then it will be easier for you to answer these interview questions. Okay, so the questions from the interview will come from your application, and therefore take time to review your application very well and be prepared to answer questions on the 5 competence areas. So remember again the 5 competence area, which are, let me just show you again. These are the 5 things. Okay, you have to have some fundamentals of the knowledge, and then you have to show that you have applied them, okay, in some engineering problems, and then you have to show you have technical and commercial leadership, and then you have a good interpersonal skills, and then you have a commitment to professional standards, recognizing obligations to society, the profession, and the environment. So that includes, if you are doing a project, you are following a certain standard to ensure the sustainability of the project, safety of the project, and safety for the, not just for the humans who are involved, but also the equipment, the building, and so on, and environment, of course. Okay, right. If you are interested, I can share with you the relevant documents based on. But these my documents are quite outdated. These are relevant 5 years ago. So, but if you want, you can let me know. I will just send them to you, just for your reference. But for new applications, later on, once you've graduated, once you have accumulated some experience and you want to apply, then you need to go to the relevant association, the institution. In my case, if you are the member of IET, then you can go to this website. Okay, so there are many resources if you want to register as a chartered engineer, which are listed down here. Of course, there are more recent version. If you go to the website, you can see many other resources that can help you to register as a professional engineer. Okay, so that's all for this video. But of course, I've talked a lot about the chartered engineer, which is the professional qualification registered in the UK. So for your homework for today, you have to answer these questions, which is very much a repeat of what I have done, but more specifically, how to register as a professional engineer in Malaysia. So go and find relevant references, and try to answer these questions, and within 1 week, then you can submit your answer using a link which I will provide later via their e-learning. Okay, everyone, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. So I'll see you in the class, online class. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you. Bye bye.